Yeah, so actually, I'm gonna ask you the question. So, why are you doing this? What prompted you to start a podcast and all that?
Oh, I've never had the script flipped on me. Yeah, now I feel like I'm the guest all of a sudden. Why I started this is because a lot of people think it's glamorous starting a business, and a lot of people think it's super cool. And there genuinely are really cool moments. I've had pinch me moments. Like we've had Times Square billboards, Beyonce wearing our product, awards, traveling with your sisters who are my co-founders. It's really been a dream in some ways, and in some ways, it's been moments of feeling like I'm not able to have a regular routine and have regular friends, regular relationships because I'm traveling every 6 weeks. Moments that you feel like it's all on your back what decision you make because a lot of people trust you in certain ways. Moments where you're being grilled in a room by investors and you have to be bulletproof and not show too much reaction. Moments where I felt like sometimes I'm like, is there a post-it on my head that says asking for feedback? Because there was a phase where I remember thinking, I was getting unsolicited feedback back to back, and it wasn't even from people I necessarily wanted it from. And I was kind of like, this is exhausting. Like, I'm already criticizing myself, I'm already getting critique. Then these additional people that like to tell you what you should be doing, it was a lot. So, yes, I have navigated a lot in this journey, and with all those feelings that I have, I know that other business owners feel that way. So that's part one is how can I add value to the stressed out entrepreneur that can't afford or access these top experts but needs to learn. And they need to learn. Like they actually can't afford to not have the best advice because everything's on the line and they've bootstrapped this or other people's money is in this. So this isn't just like, oh, I kind of want a tip. This is like, hey, I really need to know what to do on my limited budget as a lean startup because if not, how are we going to make it to next quarter? Then there's part two, which is a lot of friends reach out to me that are starting brands because I've been doing this for 6 years. And so I'm like sometimes a friend in the friend group that has started a brand. And I love that, by the way. Like, I really love having coffee chats with people about starting a brand, but it made me realize a lot of my friends, and I was like this as well, there's a limited understanding of things like financial models and why a business plan is actually needed, not just a buzzword, but like, no, but really, why do you need it? And so I think I'm someone that has always been approachable and friendly, so my tone of voice is not intimidating or formal or overly serious. I actually feel like I am a good person to break down and make this kind of knowledge digestible. And so it all comes back to the experience of I need this, I needed this, I still need this. But how can we do this where business information is not intimidating and overwhelming? Because the more people that you help, then the more people that start businesses, then the more people that start, the increased chances of them actually being successful and not failing. Only 25% of businesses in the region apparently make it to year 10. So if we actually improve this journey, you're actually adding like so much to a country's GDP, which to me that's really exciting. So yeah, sorry, my answer is really long, but it's because I actually have like so much to say about this.
And you do, and actually, like it's quite interesting that there's like a big part of this that we're not bringing to the table here. That like our conversation leading up to this podcast has actually been around sleep.
Yeah. I think if anyone knows me well, they know like I struggle with like
and
sleep.
and I think it's an important piece of the puzzle when we talk about your business strategy, logistics setup, your product, etc. There's
Yeah.
also like how you deal with yourself in all of that, and I thought it was quite interesting that you and I kind of got into this whole conversation around like, okay, how do you get your energy in the morning, and how do you deal with the constant pressure that you're under, and then how do you kind of end the day and sleep into the next day so that you're best set up to deal with the next day in the best way. So yeah, like what are your thoughts on that? Like what do you want to bring to the table in terms of your audience on that front?
I think it's just by being probably as candid as I can be because I think this fake illusion, even that I have a 5 a.m. routine. By the way, I admire you because you are kind of where I want to eventually be, which is where I can fix slowly my lifestyle habits as well, because it all links, everything links.
Yeah, 100%.
My ability to excel even more in my business life is linked to my ability to excel in my personal life. And my business coach is really passionate about that. He actually majorly correlates fitness discipline to entrepreneurship discipline. So I'm still on a journey, and I actually wish I was someone that I wake up at this time every day. I have this like beautiful routine. I do have a routine, but it's unfortunately not at the timings of the day that I wish I started at because of my sleep issues. So I think what I can do and how I can contribute is actually normalizing that we're not all doing it perfectly. Right now, I'm just doing it to what works for my rhythm, because since the one good thing about being an entrepreneur is I don't have to be somewhere at a certain time. So if I didn't sleep till 3 a.m., which is often because I just can't fall asleep, and I don't have a meeting really early the next day, I will let myself still try to get at least like 6-7 hours. But then I am starting my day late. And I think I'm finally like okay to talk about that without shame, because I think there's such shame on being almost like a loser if you don't wake up early. But what if you literally can't sleep? It feeds into it. And sleep is so important. So I think I am really trying to work on my sleep habits, and you just gave me something today that will hopefully help. But I'm also okay to finally be honest and like open with, in the meantime, I'm not, maybe I don't get to have that perfect like 6 a.m. walk that I start with. But I have been doing 8:30 a.m. walks on Kite Beach, and that is my way of starting my day, where I have coffee to look forward to, walking with a friend, and then I start my work day. And that's just where I'm at right now, and I hope it keeps getting better. But
No, I think the most important thing in that is that you're giving yourself love, and you're accepting that like there are certain limitations around your routine that you've not been able to lock down in the way that you want to, but then you're okay with it, and you're still kind of starting your day on Kite Beach, and you're giving yourself that signal that I'm good, I'm taking care of myself. Because I mean, this is something that like I've learned the hard way, and I believe you're going through that same process, and that damn, like it's so important for us to reconfigure our kind of bodies and our perception of our reality, and like feel good about waking up every day, because ultimately that is so deeply correlated with the potential outcomes of what we do, and what we do is very difficult.
And I always feel like it's like you can't have it all at the same time. Like I like to think abundantly and not from lack. So I think you can have what you want, but in phases. So for example, if you're thriving at like exercise and work, you may not have the same energy to put into social and relationships or family or self-development. So it's like it's just hard in general. It's like I first of all, I feel like we were fed some lie that balance is even achievable. I think the most freeing thing in my recent adult life is actually realizing that there is no such thing as balance all at once. I think I can do really well in maybe 2 categories max at one point in time, but I don't think I can thrive equally in all of it. And I think kind of just accepting that is just really helpful. Otherwise, you always feel like you're behind. And I actually think if you are, then it's a bonus. Like see it as like, wow, I'm able to do that, and that, amazing. But if not, it's like, okay, no, but I'm putting my all into work and relationships, so I'm really happy that these two are killing it right now. You know what I mean? Like,
And I totally resonate with that. You know, like also the realization at some point that I've kind of like lost touch with all of my friends, and I'm not really well connected with my family, and then putting an effort to revive that over the past couple of years. And I think that like, yes, like there's always something to give if you're kind of choosing the life of an entrepreneur or whatever. You want to like push everything to the limit, and you want to grow something out of nothing. You first think you get into that because it's going to give you ultimate freedom, and the truth is it becomes your biggest sort of like your own personal cage that you created, like, right? Sorry, I'm over dramatizing this a little
no,
bit.
but it's true.
Yeah, because I mean you become beholden to the thing that you create, right? And but like I think the one thing that I've come out of all of this is the body is non-negotiable, because from there everything, like if your chemistry is your physical capability, and your chemistry is there to, and your hormones are there to support you feeling good, then you almost have a better perspective on everything. You
Yeah, I
make
think
better decisions.
the body is non-negotiable only if you are in touch with your self-worth. So I think it actually takes a personal journey to even get to that
That's a
realization.
wow. That's a very
Yeah, that's
powerful
kind of
point.
like
Yeah,
my journey is
yeah.
like you think it's so obvious that you matter and your body matters and your mental matters, but that's again only if you actually are aware of your self-worth. And I think that's why I really believe that it all starts there. And it was this course that I did during the pandemic that I talk about actually like to my friends and on my Insta stories because I like sharing, but it's called To Be Magnetic, and it's led by this manifestation expert, and she uses neuroscience and everything to back what she believes in, but it's basically like you can't manifest anything you want in your life if you still have blocks in your self-worth. So any topic that you feel like something's not flowing there, it's all linked to self-worth from the ages of 0 to 7 or 0 to 14, linked to that topic. So it's fascinating because in meditations, and it's called deep imaginings, they all go back to an early stage in your life where some comment or something happened that made you feel not worthy in that area,
That's
and
interesting.
it affects you today in your 30s or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's just super interesting.
let me resonate with that for a second. I'll kind of
Yeah.
get a little bit personal on this, but so we went through like a very difficult time with Quiqup. We pivoted from the UK to here, and then there was a few years of like a really big struggle of like trying to make it work after such a big pivot and raising a hell of a lot of money in the UK, that not working, and then coming here um and during that time I wasn't healthy, I wasn't sleeping well, I was like super anxious all the time, stressed, etc.,
Yeah.
everything, right? And so we're talking now about the importance of like self-worth and taking care of your body, and the body's non-negotiable. And this point that you make around realizing realizing your self-worth in order to unlock your respect towards yourself and give yourself love, like I think there was like a very specific moment in time when I refused to continue to be associated with the business so tightly, where I was able to, and it was a very difficult moment that we were about to lose it all. Like we were struggling to get funding, etc., issues with
Yeah.
different stakeholders, and so it was in that moment that I just made the realization that I need to separate myself from it, and after that I did some work with this like healer or
Oh
whatever,
wow. No, I love when like people have done the effort to go deeper.
and the deeper truth was some, like this whole thing of like detaching myself and allowing myself to be free
Yeah.
is tied to some sort of like a past experience, and so
Yeah.
you sort of build the muscle memory to deal with your current adversity, with sort of the trauma of something in the past that doesn't require that level of intensity. At the end of the day, it's just a business. You're okay, right?
100%. Your current adversity has nothing to do with the current
Yeah, yeah,
adversity.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
all, why are we so reactive? Why are
Yeah,
we so bothered? It all trickles back to something that happened
yeah,
ages ago, which is why sometimes we don't even understand our reactions. We're like, why am I so triggered by this? But it's because it has nothing to do with this.
yeah,
It's what happened that you didn't focus on, that you ignored, that you pushed away.
yeah,
And then it
100%.
built up and built up.
And to tie that into what you were saying is like when I saw that, and the decision that I made that decision that I'm gonna be my own person, and so that was the moment when self-worth started to increase, and it sort of coincided with my blood work starting to uh, point
Wow.
positively, and my fitness starting to go up, and then also the business outcomes. Like literally, I can point on a graph of our revenue growth where exactly I started feeling good about myself, and you can literally see an inflection.
Oh my God.
Like,
This is so powerful because this is like, oh my God, yeah. See, this is the stuff I get like super excited about is like your effort with self development and self worth actually led to your business doing better. So if
100%.
people, let's say people don't care about it because they think, oh, this is such whatever. Well, you're going to care about it if your business does better.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think sometimes someone needs to hear it in that way. Actually, it's helpful to hear from you as a man who's a leader, who's doing well. you are saying, but like literally your revenues grew when you finally took your self-development seriously. I think that's really helpful to hear for someone.
Because you literally perceive your world differently. The same,
You are different, actually.
you
I
are
think.
different,
Yeah.
and so you the same things are happening around you, but you tend to see them differently.
Exactly.
And you find different meaning in that, and therefore you make different decisions that lead to better outcomes. But I want to ask you a question. Why did you say as a man in that? Like,
Because I think this world, so anyone that's close to me knows that I hate the word woo woo. Like when people look at something that's spiritual or self development, they're like, oh, and that's all woo woo. Like that word itself is dumbing down this entire magical sphere of life that actually makes your life better. And
yeah,
so when you put this like word that sounds kind of like fantasy, you're already kind of diminishing its value. So I actually hate when people use that word because it changes people's lives to actually look deeper. Look at how me and you have both benefited from doing the inner work. But I say as a man because actually I think in an empathetic way to men, a lot of men haven't been encouraged to do the inner work, and
Okay.
maybe it's not discussed in their male communities or even their families or with their friends. That I think it's actually helpful for the skeptical, traditional type A man listening to actually hear it from you because maybe it's more convincing. It's like, oh, you're clearly someone that takes business seriously and you don't seem like you're only in this hippie spiritual world that people associate these things with. So I think when they hear someone successful sharing a story like that, it can resonate with so many more people. Whereas if you're someone in Bali who has dedicated their life to this, which I love that person,
Yeah.
but as well, I love both, but it's like that person is only going to relate to a niche audience. But someone that also is living kind of growing a corporate life as well, but also growing a personal life, that person can relate to even more skeptical audience members. And I think that's helpful.
What's wrong with a little bit of magic, right? Like,
No, exactly. Oh
some
my
of
God. I
some of
love
the
that.
most some of the most interesting people of humanity were people that were basically questioning what they can explain and what they cannot explain. Right, those are the greatest philosophers of our time. I mean, Leonardo da Vinci is a great example of that,
Yeah.
and there's like many from there. So I think that like I don't know what got us to a point where we stigmatize kind of trying to interpret intuition and the things that we cannot explain.
I think it's because there's a spiritual world and some of it is just intuition and trust and some of it's unseen. And there's some people that are more scientific analytical thinkers. And so I understand that some people just simply need proof and evidence, which is why some people are atheists, or that's why religion is such a gray area because not everything is verbatim, like
Yeah,
in your face.
yeah.
So I think it just goes back to a much deeper thing of some of us are more in tune with just deep trust and intuition. And I don't always need a scientific fact for me to trust.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
some people do, and it's not right or wrong. And that's why people resonate with Joe Dispenza because he goes deep into the science of manifestation.
Yeah.
And so that has related to a bigger audience, which is great.
He's great, actually.
Yeah, I'm reading Becoming Supernatural right now.
My aunt recommended a podcast by him, and I was actually mind blown the first time I listened to him.
He's amazing. I want to start doing the meditations. 99.999% of all of us and everything is apparently energy, which is why I think it's the weirdest thing that we haven't been taught to interpret and learn. And how do you read frequencies of energy? Why are we not taught this in school if most of life and most of us are energy? Like everything is energy particles. That's like another story because we'd be too powerful, I think. But he basically says that what you want already has a vibrational frequency. And so you just need to work on elevating your vibrational frequency to finally match that thing that you want.
Yeah.
And it's so simple when he says it like that, which is why it's all linked to intentions, but associating elevated emotions with that intention and why people say you need to act like you already have it. It's because, but I like that it's just so much more scientific. It's not just a feeling. It's, okay, imagine there's a radio frequency around that goal that you have in your mind. You're not at that frequency yet, so it's never gonna come to you. So you need to do whatever you can to be at that radio frequency, and then finally two things are magnetic and they finally match.
Yeah.
But that's the part that I'm super fascinated in is how can you elevate your frequency to finally, and I've learned a lot, I think, in the past few years where now I get it, but I think it's so exciting because
If you put your hand under a microscope, you will see things that are moving actually,
Wow.
right? Like
Yeah.
your cells are
Yeah,
moving,
yeah.
right? And your everything in you is moving. And so this like concept of um this concept of getting towards a certain outcome is a result of a certain state of being, right? A certain state of being leads you to deliver a certain outcome. And so you need everything in you with your thoughts and your body and your cells to flow at a certain state in order for you to achieve the things that you want to
Yeah,
achieve.
exactly.
And that's sort of like a bit a different take on what like Joe Dispenza said in terms of like getting to that frequency.
No, but I 100% resonate with also like the way that you just said it. I just want to say thank you so much for your openness today. And it was so much fun having you on. I feel like I learned a lot, but I also just love your transparency. And I want only guests that are transparent like you, because at the end of the day, we're not all trying to prove anything. We're really just trying to help. The person listening is either going to start something or they've already started. And so thank you for just sharing and being really honest with all your opinions.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I really enjoyed talking to you and also opening up and digging a little bit deeper as well with you. So yeah, hopefully we'll do it again.
Yes.
And
Thank
let's
you.
do the handshake again.
Let's do a handshake.